you along at one point, and we couldn't get the ball off you.
Right, no one's saving those.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Ian, there's a bigger picture to the work that you do, and I know that you're struggling as always. Everyone will see Ridgeway as this glamorous club that has produced all these great players. So basically, you must be rolling in it. Is that correct?
I wish I was, mate. I wish I was. I mean, as any grassroots club and, you know, Sunday club, or what, call them what you like, you know, when you've got players that are turning up to participate, you've got teams that are turning up to win stuff because they, you know, you've got some good teams and some journeyman teams, I think you call them.
Yeah.
But the main thing is the kids having fun. That's the first point. Problem you get is obviously back to the grassroots issues that we all know about. Facilities. Some of the pitches we tried to play on this year, you probably wouldn't grow cabbages on.
Right.
They've been, you know, it's just getting worse. I mean, back in our day, I mean, 15, 20 years ago, you go to a pitch, it'd be flat, it'd have grass on it.
Yeah.
Even with some, I know we've had some pretty bad winters, but we're losing, I think we lost 27 pitches last year.
Wow.
You know, and we got the games played, and you do what you can, but, you know, with all this alleged money going in for, you know, for the FA for things like G3 pitches and things like that, average clubs like myself, because I classify my club as an average club because we have as big a voice as the next club. You know, it's purely a case of it's difficult. You know, if there was one facility, I mean, you know the manor we're on because obviously you and Bobby, both from the local area. There are spaces that can be utilised, but for whatever reason they're not.
So, Ian, if I was going to cut you there, sorry, but
right.
there's just been £5.1 billion announced as a TV deal.
Yep.
What do you think should happen with some of that money to improve levels of grassroots coaching, levels of grassroots pitches?
Well, you know what I'm going to say, but the bottom line is you'd hope that someone in the Premier League, I mean, don't get me wrong, the Premier League, as Mr. Scudamore said, is the best in it's a product. The problem with it being a product, especially for the English game, an England team and things like this, you're cutting off your manufacturing outlet by not investing at the bottom end.
Yeah.
You know, so I can understand. And the players, a lot of the players deserve everything they get. It's a short career. You know, they've got to earn a living and things like this. But I would like to see a bigger percentage, perhaps just being ploughed in at the bottom end, whether it's via councils or some of the charity places that own a lot of these grounds. Yeah. And reinvest it. Get some G3 on there so you can get your games played. I mean, you were on our surface last night.
I thought the surface was ridiculous.
Concrete,
yeah, absolutely ridiculous. Yeah.
I mean, it's a hockey pitch. I mean, basically that's it. But if I was to go to a local G3, you know, G3, G4 pitch, and use that for my club, where I've got say 10 teams, we probably have to charge each kid or each parent of those kids next to £100 a year for us to go and play on G3.
Right.
And that's if you can get on one.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of clubs already do that, but. It's not what we're about taking money off. We want to play football and enjoy it and, you know, and experience it. But the problem is at the moment the facilities just aren't there.
So, Ian, if you had a message then for football in general, Premier League, FA, whoever, what would your message be?
I think invest while the good times roll, because at some point there's going to be a situation where the money gets so high that one of these big investors that are buying these packages is going to go pop. And then people are going to wake up, and then the price is going to start coming down what they're going to get. And if they don't invest now, they never will.
Right.
So I think they've got to, you know, they've got to look at the bottom end and sort of decide, well, let's spend some money where we need to. And there are a lot of places out there they need to. It's not just London; it's the whole country.
Correct. Yeah.
Everybody needs it.
Yeah.
And even if you had sort of one G3 pitch that could be community-based that teams could use at an affordable rate. That's going to increase the level and the development of players at a young age, where we're picking them up at sort of 7s and 8s, 9s, just to improve them. You know, you can't improve players when the ball won't roll.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not doable.
Ian, I know you're going to come into the studio in a couple of weeks with Dave Brickner, who you mentioned earlier. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. You've had our guests nodding along as well. So you must be doing something right and saying something right as well, Ian. But we'll see you in the studio in a couple of weeks, and thank you very much for sharing some time with us.
Troy, Bobby, Marcus, thanks for your time, and I'll speak to you soon, Troy.
Cheers. Thanks very much, Ian.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bobby, just before we go to the break, you know the area, Waltham Forest, like Ian has said. What needs to be done in an area like that, but yet which produces so many good players, me and you know, just for to name two? What needs to be done in an area like that?
I think we've got to go down the European route, Troy. I've been over to Denmark, and Ian briefly touched on it with the council.
Yeah.
What they have in their, say, a local town, the council will build a 3 or 4G pitch for all of the clubs to use free of charge. That means that you've got all the kids from the grassroots going all the way up to under 18s, under 19s. And one of the big clubs in Denmark, a club called FC Midtjylland, they played Man City a few years ago in the, might have been the Europa League. They use the pitch, but they use the pitch after the grassroots kids. Okay. So they actually looking to actually promote the grassroots, and it was very unique. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. They had a David Beckham size arena. Right. But it was all for the kids. The council is paid for, and their philosophy is, can we keep the kids off the street? Yeah. Can we promote good football, and can it be affordable? The problem we have, I'm in South London now, and obviously my roots are in East London. Ian touched on it. At our club, we charge £305 a year. We have outside coaches, and we train at 3 different 3D pitches, costing between £90 and £100 an hour. That impacts a lot on kids like myself back in the day. You'd have to ask your mum for £5.
Yeah.
A lot of commitment. That's got to you travel.
Exactly.
Go and get your fish and chips.
Yeah.
You know, that's old.
Strike. No one's saving those.